So I'm going to do my best job going through some big dates that I found and came across while doing some prep. But I'm sure we'll be able to add other stuff to the wall. And
your official timeline that Paul gave me is included in our compilation already.
oh, cool.
Yeah.
So I just pulled some stuff off that. I've been working at TA for 7 years, and I actually found biking, not because I really care that much about bikes, but because I wanted to be a part of a community that was doing progressive social change work. And so did a critical mass bike ride, More Gardens ride in 2001 that had thousands of people on it, which was amazing. And started volunteering with Time's Up. So it's nice to be here with all this great group of people. Thanks Nona for organizing this. Okay, so TA was founded in 1973. It's our 40th anniversary year. I looked back, I don't have a lot of info from the 70s, what was happening. I think there was a lot of community building, organization building. We were all volunteer, direct action, focused organization. Just to give you a sense of how things have changed, we now have 25 full-time staff. And I think a dozen part-time staff and 12 hourly bike ambassadors. So things have sort of changed quite a bit over the 40 years. I sit at my desk with a sign above me that is from the bike ban. So it's a big bike with an X through it. No bikes from, what were the hours?
3 to 7.
3 to 7. As motivation through my day about what I do. So in 1987, TA filed a lawsuit against the city regarding the bike ban, working with many people within the community. In 1988, that ban was removed. It was a big victory, I think, for the messenger community in particular. In 1990, we had our first Century Bike Tour, which is, just for those of you that don't know.
Wasn't the bike ban stopped because messengers went on strike for 2 days and corporate America started to call Ed Koch and called Ed Koch and said that they needed to get that?
Yeah, that's totally true. I was just literally reading, we filed a lawsuit in 87.
All right, I'm just static.
Does anyone else want to chime in on the bike ban?
That's what it's for.
Yeah, cool. That's great. I mean, is there anything else you want to say about it?
No.
I think there was another thing that Charles Komanoff wrote, A Long History of Nona, right?
Yep.
That it's in one of the emails, maybe you could send that out, that you could read a lot about it and find out at least what his take on it was.
Yeah.
Actually, I think he was involved in organizing that protest.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to say a lot of people worked really hard to help lift the bike ban. So in 1990, we organized our first Century Bike Tour, which is the only urban Century bike ride. And I mean, a lot of bike rides, like the Five-Borough Bike Tour, for example, not to create a better or worse comparison, like the streets are closed on that day, and I think TA has always run bike rides where we try to make the experience of riding the bike like, what it's like when you're actually riding a bike. So the Century, is the streets are just operating like they normally do, but it's a group of people that are choosing to do this ride. And it obviously supports our work too. Something that I know that other forms like Charles Komanoff would have probably talked about the 1991 Queensboro Bridge bike block to try and make a statement to open up the Queensboro Bridge to bike traffic. People that were involved in that are like John Workhout, who now works at DOT, and John Caney, who was a ED of Transportation Alternatives, and many other people. In 1992, apparently it was the first official Bike to Work week. I believe this was a collaboration between TA and the DOT, although I'm not 100% sure. In 1993, TA published the Bicycle Blueprint, which was, I guess, sort of an overview of how TA thought New York City could become more bike-friendly. And it had a range of ideas from bike lanes to bike parking ideas. In 2004, we partnered with the DOT on the first full bike month. The DOT at that time started actually paying money to put up ads and print calendars as a way to promote that campaign. And we managed the website, which used to be called Bike Month NYC, which no longer exists. Not tea-related, but I think important. In 2006, there was the Department of Health released a study on serious bike injuries and fatalities. It was the first time I think that our city health department had ever done any look at the cause of bike crashes, and the reason that actually came about is that the New York City Bike Coalition came together. So all the bike groups that work together in the city already came together and put together the Bike Safety Action Plan, and that action plan called on the city to address bike safety. And it was prompted by a string of pretty high-profile bike deaths. So I think that was a really nice moment of community when all these varying bike groups came together and put this call out to the city, and the city responded with this research, which found, not surprisingly, drivers at fault for most bike crashes, and then made a bunch of recommendations about changes that could happen. Yeah, and then I think in recent times, I think in terms of mainstreaming the idea of biking daily at our city policy level, I think 2006 in Plan YC was something that our mayor did, and it basically called on the DOT to accelerate the installation of bike lanes. So however you feel about bike lanes, I think that was unprecedented in terms of the city making it an accelerated investment in bike infrastructure. And out of that grew 9th Avenue, which was not really the first protected bike lane, because obviously the people went in and got ripped out, but began a new generation of protected bike lanes, which we see pop up now around the city. I'll end there because there's a lot more to say, but I will say that we are the proud fiscal sponsor of the bike, so.
Woo!
Awesome.
Thank you, Carolyn. So our next speaker is going to be Taliah.